fluidly across the racetrack. Doug O'Neill got to be very happy with that workout.
Call for riders up here in the Santa Monica. Great addition for it. And Teddy's Promise has had some very big wins over this racetrack and really trying to add to that resume here, as the 4 Teddy's Promise is our current favorite at 9-5. But you see the 5 Belle of the Hall. I mean, prices were going to come down with the scratch of the 6 by Rama and the 7 Rumor, but I think with the betting public being able to look at those last 2 races and the way horses rallied, maybe they have confidence that Belle of the Hall will be able to do the same.
I would agree with that. And the thing with the favorite, Teddy's Promise here at 9-5, is that she needs the outside. She's better on the outside. Ron Ellis has said that all her career. He said she's training well out of that victory in the Kalukan Queen last time out. It was back on the 29th of December. Similar track circumstances, wet fast here was the designation, and Teddy's Promise loved it. It was a nice comeback race, but she's much better when she's to the outside. It's clear in her past performances. 2 back when she drew post 1, disappointing effort. She's much better on the outside of horses. She's a quirky little individual, and she's got Kindle to her outside. I think it would be a better setup for her if Kindle was drawn down to the outside, inside, and Teddy's Promise to the outside. But Victor, you watch, will work this filly to the outside today.
And here is Teddy's Promise, as we're talking about Polyman at Santa Anita. She's pretty much made her career there.
Yeah, you know what? She showed some speed last time, or to start in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint, and then she just backed out of it that day. But she has plenty of speed to stay close. She has plenty of speed to finish as well. 7 furlongs for her has not been an issue. She's definitely the one to beat. My only issue is every time she usually runs a really big one like she did last time, she really doesn't come back. She did the same thing last time in the Time to Love, and then she came back in a stakes race at 2-1 and did not run. She did that as well in the La Brea last year when she won. She came back in the Santa Monica this race and did not run. Now, whether the wet, fast racetrack will carry her today remains to be seen, but she was ultra impressive. I'm just really surprised that Kindle is still at 5-1. I think a horse that can get away on the lead here.
Field coming out onto the track for really the best race today as far as class conditions here, the Grade 2 Santa Monica. We still have the Crystal Water coming up, which will be a great race going a 1 1/8 on the good turf course. But solid field here in so many ways, and a further example of how the California breds compete in open company, and this open company race being offered here. California bred Teddy's Promise is our favorite at 9-5. Can Garrett Gomez make it 3 spectacular wins in a row in same fashion? He's aboard the 1 journalist.
Well, this horse is bred in Argentina, so they're bred in the rain. And this horse has got many wet track races. So it reportedly has been working great in the morning, but the way Garrett's riding right now, this horse is being bet, Simon.
Yeah, certainly is. And we'll be making that patented off-the-pace move, I would imagine, at odds of 7-1 here for Costa Ronis and Ronis Racing. The 2 is distracting, cutting back from 2 turns to 1. And I think fits the profile well here, fits the profile of a horse that will like the wet racetrack, looks good on the track, 5-1 for Bob Baffert.
Yeah, I like this horse on the cutback. I like this horse way better than the other outside horse. Sugar in the Morning, Martine Garcia, Ron McAnally, she looks well in the flesh. Never been over a wet track, and she's going to try to win this race for back-to-back, or she almost won it last year, excuse me. She's Home Sweet Aspen, snuck up the rail on her.
That's right. The 4 is Teddy's Promise. Let's look at her. A good-looking filly. Very nice training job by Ron Ellis to bring this filly back in impressive fashion last time out.
Steve Asmussen and Dixiana Farms now in the barn is Belle of the Hall. A 6 for 23 runner will come here racing in some big races back east. The Ballerina, she was 4th to Turbulent Descent. She was 4th in the Honorable Miss to CC's Pal. She gets Corey Nakatani.
Here's the 8, Kindle, and 5-year-old mare, very honest, very consistent. Connection's done a great job with her. 4 for 9 lifetime, 3 second-place finishes.
And then the 9 is Pink Lollipops. Had the rail last time. Maybe we'll enjoy the outside slot. Might be able to sit, but I just don't think she's as talented as some of the other runners in here. Joe Talamo stays, though.
That is your post parade for the Grade 2 Santa Monica. 7 furlongs on the wet fast track at Santa Anita. 4 minutes now to get to TVG.com and play. Let's talk about one of the advantages to being a TVG account. And this is just one, Simon.
Yeah.
I used to. I kind of just now, just eggs, and it kind of gets me too geeked up. I got to settle down. Because I do a job that's all about personality. If I'm over the top before I get here, I have nothing less for the show. But here's Sugar in the Morning in the Santa Monica back on January 28th of last year. Will sit in 3rd and finish 2nd beat in the neck. Look, it's a Grade 1 event, but let's go back to what you always talk about, Simon. Time has a way of making us look at things differently.
And what is it this year? It's a grade 2.
That's right.
All right,
and this running had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why. So, look, I think, Home Sweet Aspen ran a decent race, but they weren't true Grade 1 animals, and that's probably part of the reason why this race has been downgraded to a Grade 2. Teddy's Promise, though, I think I think Teddy's Promise is a legit Grade 1 animal.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she is. You look at the two horses with the class in here, they're the two favorites. They're the 4 and they're the 5. I mean, Belle the Hall has danced a lot of dances. I mean, she has Grade 2 play. She hasn't been a Grade 2 or Grade 3 or Grade 1 winner. Teddy's Promise she's a Grade 1 winner. She won the La Brea. She beat Sugar in the Morning. Now, you could say, okay, Sugar in the Morning hasn't run against anybody, but Teddy's Promise is definitely the horse to beat in here. Distracting is very interesting to me, the 2. I thought a horse that should have won 2 back and sort of got into a bad beginning, had to go 3 wide and got beat by Pink Lollipops. They took the blinkers off. Snowfall came back to win. Snowfall was the one that ran second to Teddy's Promise. So the 2, I think, on the cutback is very, very interesting for Hillendale.
And that is one of 2 horses in here for trainer Bob Baffert. The other is the 9 Pink Lollipops. The 2 Distracting sits up on the board at 5-1. Pink Lollipops at 11-1.
Big day for Hillendale. If they win here and they won the El Paso in Sunland, could do a stakes double across the country there.
Yeah, I don't think that double's been done before.
No, I don't think it's been
attempted. Winning the El Paso and the Santa Monica.
I don't think it's been even attempted.
So credit to them for even trying. And Teddy's Promise, last time out, that wet fast track, completed 6.5 furlongs at 1:14.3. And Teddy's Promise, what I liked about that performance, laid close to the pace, is a horse who used to roll from a little bit further back, and I think that tractability is going to be very important here today.
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, the 8 should go towards the lead, the 2 Distracting, or the 9. I think one of the 2 Bob Baffert runners are going to go to try to keep the 8 a little bit company, but I think Teddy's Promise will sit right behind there. Remember what Simon said, and it is true. Ron Ellis has told us he doesn't like to be inside horses, and especially on a muddy racetrack, I would think Victor Espinoza is going to try to get her outside, maybe rating a little bit, maybe in 3rd or 4th.
I think the key for Victor is to get Kindle to come up the inside. Be outside of Kindle. Kindle's drawn to the outside.
Can we talk more about Kindle? We're looking at Kindle right now.
Yeah, read this.
This horse is very, very fast. Misdirection was an overwhelming favorite to win the Monrovia, but Kindle carved out some really fast fractions that day, and it was really built as Misdirection's ability to close against Kindle's brilliant early speed. I don't think Kindle, you look at that second place finish, there's any shame into that second place finish. She still bolstered my opinion that she's a serious runner.
She's a serious runner. She's very fast, and that's what she possessed. Look, Misdirection was the champion-elect, if you will, of, sprint fillies on the West Coast or in the country. She was taken out of the game a little bit against Kindle because Mike Smith had to, there wasn't 2 or 3 pace horses in there. She couldn't sit back and make the move like she did in the Breeders' Cup.
So she had to grind a little more.
She had to lay close, and so they took her out of a game. It was her class that got her there. But hats off to Kindle. She's very quick. Speed's dangerous.
And the reason why I like Kindle, you look at her races over the main track. They were in February and January. She drew the 2-hole, the 1-hole, and the 1-hole. She had her hand forced. She broke bad in one of her races, her second start. So she ended up with bad positions. Izzy Rules was really fast. I'm at 22 and 43 and 2. She's out of a Carson City mare, Indian Charlie on the top side. She should love a wet track.
Well, and look at her one quote-unquote wet track effort. Was on a good track at Santa Anita, November 2011, second to include me.
Trained by Ron Ellis, who's a Grade 1 winner as well.
And obviously, there are 2 different types of horses, include me out in Teddy's Promise.
I'm not worried about the wet track. I'm more worried about the 7 furlongs.
7 furlongs.
That's
true.
I have.
Well, look, if we had seen, and here's the other part to this. We had talked about this racetrack. Okay, what are we going to see?
Now what are we going to see after we see 2 horses
launch from far back? If we had seen a continuation of the first 4 races, I think Kendall might be 7-2 according to the betting public, but I think people are just trying to adjust.
Well, it's drying out. Well, I wouldn't say it's drying out, but there's no rain falling now.
Yeah.
The sun's hitting it, and they're squeezing it in between races. It's getting a little heavier.
Okay, we've covered a lot of horses. Bottom line from you guys: who wins the Grade 2 Santa Monica?
I like Kindle. I think Gate to
The 8 for Paul LaDuca.
I'm with Teddy's Promise. Look for an outside move from Victor Espinoza. I think she gets the job done.
Great addition as they move in the line. It is the 56th running of the Grade 2 Santa Monica. The 4 Teddy's Promise is your 8-5 post-time favorite. Here's Trevor Denman with the call.
go. Kindle hopped out the gate very fast, and Kindle opens up on them early. Teddy's Promise comes through to get second. On the inside, here's Distracting going up at joint second. Pink Lollipops is on the far side. Sugar in the Morning in the red, only 4 lengths off the leaders now. Behind that, Ballad the Hall and Journaliste is last. They head to the half-mile pole, and Kindle has dropped down onto the rail. Kindle at a fast pace leads it by a length. Distracting second. Teddy's Promise right there in third. Sugar in the Morning in a good spot fourth. 4 lengths off that leader. Pink Lollipops on the far side. Ballad the Hall is inside of her, and Journaliste is last, 8 off the lead. Into the turn they go, and still Kindle the leader by a length and a half. Kindle to Distracting. Teddy's Promise goes after them on the far side. Sugar in the Morning right there. Pink Lollipops gets a tap on the shoulder to pick it up. Then Bell of the Hall. Last of all is Journaliste. They're at the top of the lane, and Kindle now tackled by Teddy's Promise. And here's Teddy's Promise up on the outside. Teddy's Promise, Kindle battles back on the inside, then Distracting. Sugar in the Morning behind that. They are homeward bound now, and Teddy's Promise takes the advantage, and Ultra Game Kindle battles right back. Sugar in the Morning, but it is Teddy's Promise pulling clear late now. And a scintillating performance today from Teddy's Promise. Teddy's Promise and Victor Espinosa win about 3.5 in the end. Sugar in the Morning second. Again, Kindle was third, and then Distracting.
Well, the race does play out the way we expected it. And, Paulie, man, I know you like Kindle. You had to be happy with the opening quarter mile here, but your concerns and Simon's concerns about her ability to get the distance play out here. And also credit to something you brought up, Simon, the tactics of jockey Victor Espinosa aboard Teddy's Promise.
I want to watch this one more time. Look at Victor Espinosa. He knows the speed. Look at him. He's already looking. Look to the right here. This is really good. He's looking to the right. His eyes, he came out of that gate. He had one thing on his mind, and all he was worried about was this horse right here, Kindle. Where is she going, the 8? Because what he wants to do, he wants to get around her. He wants to come out here. Look, he's inside of her. He's looking for a way through, looking left, make sure he's got the 2 down on the...
Well, and then he kind of lets Distracting out.
Exactly. Let them out to the outside. Now, just freeze it right there. This is an absolute dream setup. At this point, he doesn't know whether he's going to win or lose, but he has to be really, really happy with his position because, look, this horse has broken from post 8 way out here, and she's post 4, and now that's Victor's got exactly where he wants Kindle, and he's got exactly where he wants Teddy's Promise to the outside. This filly is a 10-length different filly when she's drawn on the outside. Make no mistake about it.
And she loves the wet track, the daughter of Salt Lake. And it shows her class in here. Kindle, listen, he did all he could do when Maldonado. 22-4 is a reasonable quarter. They went faster. They went 109 to the 6 furlongs. But the class, this is what ends up happening when you have a horse that's been, second rung in grade 3s and grade 2s down the turf, and then you have a grade 1 winner. This is when the class shows. Puts Kindle away. I thought Kindle fought on good, ends up running third in here. Sugar in the Morning will pick up, but the race is over right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that was the undoing of Kindle was the 7 furlongs, I think. Maybe at 6, she's going to finish a lot closer to Teddy's Promise, but look, she's drawn to the outside. Victor, a tremendous ride. I mean, he knew exactly what he had to do out of the gate. You could see. He looked right immediately out of the starting gate. He had a plan on his mind. He executed it perfectly, and the results show here with an easy win for Teddy's Promise. Nice effort.
By the way, Belle of the Hall, it ran a really even race and probably needed that. She's going to be better off next time out.
4-3-8-2, your order of finish. Teddy's Promise over Sugar in the Morning, over Kindle, over Distracting. That's 3-2, over 11-1, over 5-1, over 5-1. We'll be back with those prices ahead. The Crystal Water from Santa Anita.
Is this the Arctic Monkeys playing? No.
No,
I don't think so.
Is this Magic Bus by The Who?
Might be. I thought it was the Arctic Monkeys.
We know who this is coming to the winner's circle. That is Teddy's Promise. Nice job, trainer Ron Ellis and former CHRB chairman
Well,
Keith
if I'd have
Bracknell.
known Ron was in a suit.
Yeah, he's dressed
never
up.
Yeah.
dressed up in a suit.
Yeah. And he should have confidence with Teddy's Promise. Final time for the 7 furlongs, 1:22.3.
Yeah, congratulations to Ronnie. Just giving him a little grief there. Now 4 for 16 in the meet. Ted and Judy Nichols, 5-year-old mare by Salt Lake.